Ekosiisen on Asempa FM. Ekosiisen on Asempa FM. It's a Thursday afternoon, the 7th day of March 2019. Enra said the Munim was Ghana's Independence Day celebrations. Enra was the 6th of March. And yet said the Ekosiisen Independence Day edition, no Ebremo, and Yasenatnase. Edge Media on a Thursday afternoon, live on Asempa 94.7 FM. Yamamunina Kwaba, Ekosiisen Suni, Eda Sesawu Fidi Natoha, Mididio Saibon Sufemi Obi. I would want to thank the team so much for putting this together. Dominic Kisi Yaboa, Nana Chum Berema, Nana Kwadade Yurenchi Jackson and Tiamwa, and Eric Opari DJ, your Queen Star, a Japan. Yabom and the Edjumedi Ebremo. And Yada Unswasi, Saudi Fidiana to her, Wutie, Yano and the Dijume Ebum. And the Abuafua, so and saying, and so African Queen Mackerel, Ekahon, Yawo Echelon Engineering Limited, CB Men and Women Capsules, Cap Farm Ghana Limited, Seps Alata Semina, Provident Achadie Promo, Kojak Pharma Limited, Trelidor Ghana, Yawo Franco Trading, Osifone Papa Pafie, Kingdom Jensen Power Capsules, and Ostec Properties, and you make a boy and me at the Ekosiisen Bremo Enono.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
We are live on Facebook, Asempa 94.7 FM on Facebook or Twitter. So follow our live tweet at Asempa 947 handle. And on my personal handle here at Philip Bonsu. And let's get interactive. On Instagram, we are live as well there. Asempa 94.7 FM on Instagram. WhatsApp line 0546 382 0546 382 287. Na interior also war MIA. I've got some few dedications here. May Ediama Etie for edition and so my more share Wamanone Yamamunina Kwaba. In the US of A, Golden Radio in Worcester, Hope for Life Radio in Virginia, in Germany, Sankofa Radio, Ewo Stuttgart in Germany. Amonso Efa Jumedie Live, said ye Munina Munim Dadano, and Yahon Kwad when each stream Ewo United Kingdom stations a fire Edoso, Yawa Africana Radio, Abawa Radio, Winners Radio, Golden Beat Radio, and Amansan FM, Omunina Fire Ewo United Kingdom. Yarinchiasun Kumamunina for tuning in to Ghana's biggest and the most authoritative political, social, current affairs talk show, Ekosiisen Live. 6:30 pepepe ne sorry every dwumadie eso enti yebesre se obeka yen ho ame de dwumadie abre etiefo nyina ye de mehia sem segment no ebebre mo enche na enne de pesa ye hwe eye rosewood you can't rosewood ebia what is nnua no there's joy news exclusive on that and yebehwe na yetumi edi ho enkomo be 2014 and rosewood ni ye edua nnua esombo ye papa na odwani echre the northern part of our country in 2014 ade aban ehye se wona wotwa sa nnua no eton edibi kwa ama no ne ade no wonyai because emwa ade amasa nnua no a free yeman because yegusu ye no na ase ehye and ye nnua esombo inti aban share in 2014 say the government placed a ban actually on the harvesting of rosewood and ye nnua ne boarding papa menka emfa na dauda ebeye nsem bebre wo yeman mu inti that ban no was sustained yenim say aban yi ba ye nso omoto aban ne so. But NA from investigations, Joy News, aye, Echremua companies are really involved in the harvesting and sale of rosewood. Joseph Opoku Gakpo, and yes, our investigation. And Wababa Kayan Sai was studio high, and no, Ebedin Como may hear some segment eso, and the Shannon song MIA. Now, there is another Joy News exclusive. This time, no, Joy News investigative journalist Manasseh Azori Awini, Aqua undercover. Akwako who said there are some young men we Ghana for ye training one in a state facility but ye training one for the use of the ruling party the NPP. Manasseh Azori Awini will be joining me in the studios na fi ye no so nkomo enne enwumre na ye premieres our documentary on all our multimedia platforms. You might want to stay tuned and get to watch at first hand sad documentary na ene enyumre on Joy News on Multi TV, Adom TV, all our platforms on social media. Ye be screen this video na mamonso mahwe. But before that no, Manasseh Babe kan yensa e wo studio ha na yetumi e di ho nkomo. Enti no it's all about investigative videos and reporter ya yensem trofo etu anamon akọ really interesting report. You might want to stay tuned and listen to the details. And nkonko gru nim se and the studio ni hu say petrol bo fuel boy atum by 4% and ye bekom na ya share the actual breakdown and what it means to you. Wa would me say we a car owner, we a driver, which commercial vehicle, which private vehicle. What does this mean? Our relationship with seed na ho aden aba form no anase etesen ye be dis am komo nyina wie Ekosiisen. So it's a really packed show and ewo dwumadie so channel so emayen na onso fa wadwen kyrebra na yenhwe enkan emfa emma mo say the medical aka no yaboafo eso ye na sen and ye hwe de dwumadie abramu ntie wa seda piesie bia won ye de ebema won me here some segment ro Cap Farm Ghana Limited and eboa yen sounds na sips arata semina eboa yen na ye de ebrel enti we eko ema ohene yire efia boatema mambi ohene yere efia boatema bebrena friend mambi ono eye nana osei chum no is it berita ana berifa okay berifa nana osei chum brefa good na yere ohene yere efia boatema enra nana ye wa woda inti belated happy birthday to you ohene yere efia boatema Mambi, wife of Nana Osei Chum, Brefa. Ekosiisen Suni, Ewa Sempa FM. There are some other dedications here. Meshena Mede Atuja Amamonafe. Yetumi Edin Komo. Anyway, say, Obi, please say good afternoon to my daddy, Mr. FK Ampofo at Aye Kokoso in the Yensuano constituency. Watching you live from Silver Spring in Maryland, where Godfrey Ampofo Opoku Edie Enono. His Excellency Osei Kwejuedu says, good afternoon, Obi. I want to say congratulations to Kisinya Kon Alpha for the donations he made to the schools at the Independence Day celebration. Listening to you live from Akim Odainti. Schools no Akim Odan now say that would help us really in the channel. So those are some few dedications yensa aka and round so nipa dom and a baby boardom pim forecourt of multimedia abraya de adom TV for 4 party ebremo I mean say ushe nipa ba ha at a point na me busam so it didn't go for one cry ha it was massive nyame adom so obi oba ye bia timi nya bibi eko na no kakra eboa it was a time to really behold inti ye beda mo amutimi ba ye nyina ase chobas nso a ba ebe no aduane se Ghana fo me didibi ye da mo nyina nso ase where they like Oliver Twist, we would ask for more. Next year, we hope say it will be bigger than this year. Adom TV for 4 party was huge. Really huge. Inti yada mo amutime ba yenyina asenyame enhiramo. Ma yenhwe ne yemfa me here some segment no entoamo so na ansa na no ma yenkom na yemfa na ase emma yen sponsors Cap Farm Ghana Limited. Ma ka won ho asem a kire oba enenso mesenye timo bio se enne Open Nasco Media Samsung Electronics any home appliances are ne bo airfo. Yatete so esan air papa say ye TV fridges, freezers, air conditioners, gas cookers, washing machines, so discounted prices, massive discounts per one Cap Farm Ghana Limited and was a Dijuma. And it's also a Nasco 32-inch LED digital satellite TV, 699 Ghana cedis. Oshe Nasco 40-inch LED digital satellite TV. Yaseacho free, Yaseacho mini Bluetooth speaker, 1,049 Ghana cedis. Your 43-inch LED digital satellite TV, amount mini Bluetooth speaker for free. 1,030, 300. Okay, in the 1,349 Ghana cedis. There's a new 1,005 umpo. 55-inch Cassia panel curved TV for fair digital satellite LED. Your bemon satellite dish for free. Your mount Bluetooth speaker for free. Nina 2,990 55-inch. A new 3,000 Ghana. Ente Misrel. Se wuti emia to anamone ko Cap Farm Ghana Limited. Abrante pa wenya dan for se wo dem no be ehu senioma ekoyi ema. Nasco anase media tabletop fridge 599. Se ope double door fridge 10 kese na yase a chow free yase a chow iron kettle anase blender 1,050 Ghana cedis. Ni nyina Cap Farm Ghana Limited. And a day abajaso. Na ene se opese wani jedi America ho afre won numbers mienu obetima fra na send one WhatsApp message. Ye was 0500 105 and as 0500 106 na on a Cap Farm Ghana Limited in common. Ye branches had doors one cry ha oko Accra Central on a main branch na ewo behind UTC Menaba House ewa Accra Central ewa branch ewa ho mo achemota monko Old Station traffic light o da command junction a ye ben MTN ewa da command junction wa ye ben MTN mo amunim da command junction no ewa Kaneshi uko odoko Quantum Pono Eso da command junction MTN office ne ho obi hu Cap Farm Ghana Limited aso ye ba ko ewa Legon phone so ye ne UPSA edin hwe ne mu o kaswa ye kaswa brigade mo amu nungwa Lennox House opposite Brigade Washington Bay o Ayarefa ye Ghana flag tema ye community 4 Bakadis building Kumasi 4 ye ko from just opposite ko from magazine ubehu yen ewo eho Takrade nso ye bie ye branch ewo Takrade ye ben Bank of Ghana dino Cap Farm Ghana Limited branch no ade a ye bie Monday to Saturday ye adwuma 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. ye adwuma into Monshan nso Cap Farm Ghana Limited own a brand new quality and affordable home appliance today. And to amo boy near the here some segment ebremo. Make as I Joseph Opoku Gapo atnase document gunenim enye easy. Inti yebehwe yene no edi enkomo na juma wedino wetimi de munsem no abese the American aka ye will be speaking to Manase Azori Awene so on the documentary ene to join way exclusive Joy News investigative report. Na efa training bi a ekoso ema militia fo ebe ye adwuma e de ama New Patriotic Party emu nsem no bebre yebekom na ye de sanko we di kan mamema Joseph Akwaba Joseph Opoku Gapo aka ababoko de
ni anyame adom de bia boko na we
koyi
de nyame ase o atade ya o shedie era metobi o de frita male na ba en na
we meto ya chekaka
correct pa
bedase ma yenhwe edi kan rosewood eye nnuaben
one of the most expensive species in near available now nti omode niam bebre say musical instruments guitar any sanya maniama no China, Europe, elsewhere no in new Samsung you see the interior design of ships and planes. They make use of that because it's a very durable species. It's so valuable. Say, China. There are some of the places that Omo Babesisa, particularly from Africa, had a qua. No dia kwa bank safe mu. Waiting for the price to appreciate, so that then they would either sell it or use it for whatever they would want to use it for. And it's not a very common species. It grows in portions of the African enclave for a very long time, Now Yadrim Baso say a lot of it here in Ghana. Sometime in the around 20, getting to the ending of 2000s, and now constructions be a Kosovo somewhere in the northern region, and Chinese for Yadrim Baso say there's a lot of it sitting in that enclave. They were given the chance as part of the works to get the road done, to get some of it. Then the exports began. The mass export of rosewood. Sometime getting to late 2009. A very rampant. Before that, local communities were making use of it. Almost dying. Usually, omu church na no masuki wonsuo mu omu suki over some days na year gunsuo ni no mu de no aye paint e de afada no e mani twa correct pa so somebody yes Samsung na omu twa so e de ye ceiling so omu ye omu mad houses ne thatch houses na they have a lot of local use for it, but
in Ghana no he fa na ebinyi enyi in the northern part
enyi all the way from Tumu, Damongo, in fact, not just the northern part, Upper East, Upper West, and the former regions, Savannah, Sierra, Babepim, portions of the Upper Bona Hafo region, and no Bang, Savannah area, Honum Nekakrano, Honumina, so, but the way it's they are very difficult to come across. For example, the Amikoko Huyeno, Yamfane say Ura. Tumu forest reserves nima ebia hu se egu honum bebre at a go na bia we hu bia 100 ani na tutia honum around the same area hu ne sa because from what I'm told a tree nsuo pa it take a lot of years to grow into yamfa say hu back or ha say chances are that you'd have to walk for the next 4-5 minutes to see the next one, while other trees may be in the enclave as well. And yeah, it's not that common, even in places where you find them.
And yet, dear, emphasis ultimate dear from a fifi.
So we understand that there's been an experiment with that. Say, or get a planting materials from the tree and try to grow it on your own, and it didn't work. Yes, it didn't work. A lot of the available ones have been grown for more than, in fact, some of them we understand are more than 100 years old. They grew up by themselves. There's been the attempt to do rosewood plantations, which didn't work. Just, maybe with time, we'll be able to understand how well the physiology of the plant works and better understand how it's supposed to be. Since God knows how many years that a lot of these forests have existed, and a fifi, a wahonum, which then raises the fear, say, when you do the continuous cutting, then a beko extincts, and then that will be it. In fact, what informed the first government ban in 2014, was over the space of about 4 or 5 years, the estimation was that all the available rosewood species, mainly in the savanna areas from upper part of Bona Hafoko northern and upper east near upper west, more than 60% of it had been harvested over a duration of 4 to 5 years. Once the Chinese saw it and realized that this is the species that we had gotten from elsewhere, and saw that it was in Ghana as well and it was possible to export it, there was the continuous frequent harvesting. Over the space of 4 to 5 years, more than 60-65% of it were chopped.
Available trees,
yes,
over 60%.
Yes,
in 4 to 5 years.
And a trigger
ban,
government ban, then Minister for Lands and Natural Resources Inusa Fuseni address a press conference or Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources Honum, and he was very specific that there is a ban on the harvesting and the export of rosewood from the country.
And he said, me pesa me tia say ennua no nye nnua ye mfa ne se ye ka say ya deliberately e pese ye dua bia
for now, yes.
Kakra na wo ho no a yenim say very expensive edisika ebebrɛ say ye manage ni ye a adenti na ngo say ye twa say wo ho a den.
Okay, so two things. Say opeso twa, you need to cut it in a sustainable manner.
Okay.
For example, the mini say mikoko hu ye no ebi ye die nyini papa senke fish and mechanism fingerling into tree species. They are not fully matured, but because everyone is after the wood, even the non-matured ones are being harvested. When chances are that if you had allowed it to mature, then a lot more value would have been gotten from it. And if you are cutting down the young ones, then which ones will be available in future when you say we are looking for the rosewood species, which then raises the concern about it going extinct. The other bit is, as I indicated, the local communities have use for it. Once it's going extinct, in fact, painting it's possible for it to rejuvenate, and then they would still always go back for it. The engineer papa no the branches no ebugu honoma obi am de beye niema ofie any ade. But once you are cutting it off, then you are not making any of it available for the communities to make use of. And more importantly, there is a research that one of our colleague journalists had done, Emmanuel Debrevi, studying the rainfall pattern in some of the areas where the cutting of the rosewood was happening. We all always preach the point that deforestation is bad for the environment. It's a threat to our very survival.
Climate change.
It has a lot of impact on climate change. One of the voices are some of the residents in the communities were testifying that over the last 6-7 years, the rainfall patterns have changed to a very large extent, because it's a very simple thing. When we have trees in any enclave now, absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, now it releases oxygen. So trees nini honum na carbon dioxide no age na atmosphere anymore, and then lead it to the friend global warming. Then disrupt it. The processes lead to the formation of clouds. Rainfall patterns become unpredictable. Chances are high that you would not get the rain very readily because the atmosphere is too warm in order to allow for the formation of the clouds. And then when eventually we see the rains, they are heavy and causes a lot of flood. So even the rosewood harvesting falls in the general conversation around the need to avoid deforestation, which we haven't paid attention to for a lot of years, but particularly for rosewood. Say ye jai emaneko extinct na ye training na ebianya available in the next 20-30 years. Ye chirema na omobeba no in ya ben no so ebe the omo friend no biodiversity. I de back scientists in so actually say asase so no there are different species, so into more or honum bacteria or honum microorganisms, human beings, any idea na obia on the role or play in the environment. So scientists encourage say let's avoid a situation where any particular species will go extinct 100%, because what that means then they say the role that species is playing in the environment, it will be impossible to go back to them and identify the specific role that they play and how they can help keep the ecology stable. Some of these cutting of trees really needs to be avoided, but particularly for rosewood, because it's very expensive. Even if it has to be harvested, it has to be done in a sustainable manner, so that then everyone benefits and not just a few. And the ban came into force because everyone, particularly government, was afraid that if they allow the cutting to continue,
in 2014 and ban no buy. But yeah, kasa expensive. You bet me a putty figure to it.
Yes, indeed. Me check or Alibaba.com. 20-footer container. Truck usually you know, they were pricing it at between $11,000 and $40,000 depending on the quality of the species. Just a container of rosewood could be sold on the international market for as much as $40,000. And calculation the back
cities 2 billion old cities
and Luna just a single container of rosewood it's even earns a lot more when it's used for all of those other things that is used for the gun bats, when it's used in the ships, when it's used in the planes, when it's used for the musical instrument. But just the container of it costs that much. On the average, you are looking like, let's say, I understand like 20 different logs of it, which is going for that much.
Wow.
The $40,000. But the funny part of it? When they get to the communities where they cut them from now, I thought that now omoma oheneno be 500 or 1,000 cities, which is all that actually went to the community, even as they went in to cut some of those. In fact, there are some of the communities that I visited. There's a community called Jasa. It's in the Busa area or Upper West Honum. Amo buyers merchants ne call honum some ka kokati rosewood no and a community ne say local chief no wo honum no akroga me finish second name ne kakra or say paramount chief for area honum and a friend no e ka che ne say rosewood for na ba into no ba betwa omunja omumo omunta na emom no de ahia community no omun kan kire omo na omunye momo nti omumo omu kwan momu ko forest honum ekoko twitae community ne de insem yenu na to omanim almost say borehole omo honum just back up omo pe borehole and na almost say omo pe bridge, because since you turn a flood there the crossover to the next community is very difficult, and they needed a bridge over the pathway into the community, and then they needed a borehole. Omo ba be train ya ni community not the borehole, not the bridge. In the end, the indication was that energy kakra and this is happening at a time when there's a ban on it. And what that also means is that a lot of the export processes don't go through the regular processes, through corrupt activities.
Because a ban untimi export product.
So even the revenue that government was supposed to get out of some of those activities, government didn't get, and individuals
for companies involved, license and sana wetimi akwa
after 2014 ban, in fact Alhaji Yusuf Hussein, former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, on an announced ban Melina Link can hold sense, and I know Chemu say ban on no announce was for a complete ban on both harvesting and exports. Omuhu say crowd na movie along any of the highways, and now you could do port and Bibiasa yet. But when the NPP administration came in 2017, the indication was that some of the timber companies went in and indicated that before the ban Yusuf Hussein announced came into force in 2014, no mumubiako communities ako chicha rosewood
edi aguho no
intino omo person mo ye de friend of salvaging inti they are going into the forest akwasesa de omo chicha guho before the ban came into force. But mind you, the ban that Yusuf Hussein announced, it wasn't immediate. He announced that ban about 3 to 4 months before it came into effect in January 2014. So that space to have conveyed was there. But the indication is some of the companies took advantage of what happened with the change in government, to go back to the new administration and claim that they still have cut down logs lying in the communities. And the indication again is no one did any real cross-checking. No one probably did any consultation with those who existed before to be sure what may have happened. And the current administration, in between July and August 2017, issued approvals for 22 different companies to go and do salvaging of rosewood. 22 of them. And in fact, as part of the work, we managed to lay hands on almost all the permits that were issued to all of these 22 companies, to go and do how they call the salvaging. And this was a very broad approval that was given to the companies. Let me just read this. This is one of the said approvals signed by one Opong Sasu, who was the acting executive director of the Forestry Commission, and he wrote this letter to the regional managers. Bono Ahafo, Upper East, Upper West, and Northern Region.
And the way was in 2017.
This is dated 16th August 2017.
Okay.
So he goes on to make the point. We refer to the above quoted letters and be informed that the Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, through the Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission, has given approval, and a Hammerbo company, because it's an official document. It's an official document. MESSR's Membo Limited. MESSR's Membo Limited, to salvage rosewoods from the Bono Ahafo, Upper East, Upper West, and Northern regions. The chief executive's letter was copied to other related agencies and institutions to accord the company the necessary assistance in their operations. You are therefore requested to liaise with the company for registration to enable them register a unique property mark with the executive director of the Forestry Commission division before the commencement of the operations. And then it goes on to say, find attached a developed guideline for the evacuation of lying logs or billets, harvesting, processing, and transportation of rosewood by the salvage permit holders. Then it goes on to say you are to ensure full compliance for effective monitoring of the operations with effect from 21st August 2017. The interesting bit was this, that this was a blanket permit that was given to these companies with no clear definition on how much logs needed to be gotten out of the areas, because Inusa Husseini, for example, explains that when they were given the chance for salvaging before the ban came into force in early 2014, they had sent their officers around to look out for logs, to identify them so they know the quantities that needed to be salvaged. As far as he's concerned, a lot of it was actually salvaged then, but this guideline, this approval, a very blanket. May call a lot of the areas, including Tumu Forest Reserve, which is supposed to be a restrictive area where farmers are not allowed to farm because then the forest, are being kept. May call those areas sometime late last year and sometime in the middle of last year. Mikoko hu India omechucha. Ubehu se on say twadia nsuo na nane ho no nsuo no asone wo ho a ebimu ho no ma, from what I was told, they were cut down just about a week before Memiko Forest ho no ebi ho no ma. In fact, they were cut down just days before, because uhu say leaves were green waka say adaho for more than a year or more than 2 years. The way I canon, there is nowhere. Some of the claims have been made that sometimes the local communities go ahead and cut down the logs to use for their own activities. A bio honoma, Nekasia as oheno with na, as same me opohuga kwa midina hase. Until there is nowhere, obibe to me the axe and machete akwakoji now. In fact, in the Tumu Forest Reserve, maybe no particular example, because this is supposed to be a forest reserve. Forestry guards and all are supposed to be guarding. The police are supposed to be paying attention. Mekoko pie honomono. Not just the day before, and microphone and babesi akwa tractors and the cars. How many baby try no? Who say omo pie no a draw honoma almost in some of the communities some of the communities were unhappy with the processes are impounded one of the trucks which had gone into the villages to the forest to cut the rosewood now no more impound almost chairman babetua compensation among communities no and sana a release.
And the interesting thing is a buying way by from 27 left ban no
in fact the current Minister for Land and Natural Resources, or by just about, let me say 6 months, cram by Yanine Kasaye Bisano for clarification. Have you lifted the ban on rosewood harvesting? Or said Debbie, the ban remains in force. Now I'm making reference
to go and salvage. And I'm going to take advantage.
And they are very clear that the and some of the local actors were confirming this. I spoke to the district chief executive for Busa South, Daniel Gariba, head of DISEC, and he was also making the same point. And in fact, could you also free Kasai or Joy FM and opinion on this particular issue? The finger pointing at the companies that had been given the licenses to go and do the salvaging, from the level of the Forestry Commission to the district chief executives to the presiding members in the assemblies, they are very, very clear in their minds that those companies are the ones who are engaged in the cutting. Because usually,
but companies
there be
I will let you go through but before that what about Belsa South him many MP awo in Nkomo Honorable Clement Park a member of parliament for Belsa South constituency. Honorable Oti Yankai Ekosiisen name wakwaba
Bacho obi mejo so your phone so
you na bibi aboko there this nkomo ye DFA rosewood harvesting ho ene ade in wo constituency as a rampant o megidi say ban ne ho nkomo ne ade nyina wo ya aware eden na ekoso honorable
very well me da se bebe I am say 2017 July 4th and I'm making a statement on the floor of parliament about the destructive activities going on in my constituency as it pertains to the illegal harvesting of rosewood. To make it that statement, Mr. Speaker, I refer statement to Emma, the Parliamentary Subcommittee on Lands and Forestry. Omudi I'm 2018, and our committee said they would undertake a visit. Fact-finding visit to Busa South to ascertain and verify the complaint that I had made, for which Mr. Speaker had referred my concerns to them to act upon and report back. But the truth is this. What is going on is essentially a fraudulent scheme that is being perpetrated by unscrupulous timber merchants with the connivance of public officials. Because I will share LI 2254, which is the Timber Resources Management and Legality Licensing Regulations now, 2017 now. A capital under 29, section 29, where the issue of salvage, I use it as a conduit to perpetrate this criminality against the forest and against these innocent constituents of mine who are easily intimidated by anyone coming to them purporting to have documentation to engage in the harvesting, not just the salvaging of rosewood. They just indulge me for a moment. Section 29, it says that the chief executive, in this case, chief executive of the Forestry Commission, upon application and subject to the approval of the Commission, issue a permit for the salvage of trees from an area of land undergoing development, as in the case of road construction, expansion of human settlement, or cultivation of farms. A permit issued under Sub-Regulation 1 is subject to the terms and conditions as specified in the permit. But anyway, what is happening is that there are no logs lying down in my constituency for which permits should be issued for any company to go and salvage. The truth is that the companies pay their agents to go and cut down.
Honorable Park,
yes, Mr. Yo, Martina, that's the way part there. I'm very passionate about it. You have to forgive me. The truth is that some companies see on one amount for with chainsaws. Now I'm going to try rosewood, you know. Now I'm going to now companies now stand down. Now I'm going to forestry commission. Have become aware of logs which are of economic value, and therefore they need permits to go and salvage. Now forestry for also through the ministry. Now you have more permits. No, it is essentially no. It is a 419 because a business south, as an example, no, there has not been any major road or developmental project that will require for these trees to be salvaged. So if the logs are on the floor, the question that we should ask in the first place is this: how did the logs get on the forest floor in the first place? And that is why I have said, and I'll say again, that Forestry Commission is complicit. There are people in the ministry who are complicit, and these unscrupulous merchants certainly are the financiers of this illegality against a part of the country where we already know, sir, climate change on a husus and swallow. And it's a way bizarre. This continues to be an issue. I mean, must occupy the nation's attention. I was saying, taking action. It has to be a blanket ban. How do you allow a product that is required through an illegal activity to even be exported?
Not just I'm sure the along the value chain no omua complicit in way no endorse because illegal no money who kwan so mbekwa akotwa leaving the forest reserve, for example, ewo tumu aba tema port anatakrade port me egu ship mu ede akono all the people along sa value chain ni nyina no amwaye asoman. But my worry again will be say 2014 and a ban no ebaye from 2014 2015 16 17 new government take over. Government no man for permit say omunkoye salvaging enko se nnua omo kira omotwa gu form ansa na ban no eba enne ye hu se apart from so omoko se nnua no masan so etwa nnua ne foforo e de gu form ye wo 2019 sisi a eden ne ye honorable
erentina report na committee no produce ye no parliament adopt here that is Gako Ewo copy of the bachelor. The committee has made very, very, very interesting recommendations and findings. But the one that says that this allows salvage permits. Because the issue is within the context of the allowance of salvage permits. As long as the Forestry Commission and the ministry have the capacity to issue salvage permits, these merchants will find ways of ensuring that the trees are cut for the logs to be on the ground as a conduit for them to engage in their continuous pillaging of the savanna woodland forest. You see, what we can do is to insist that the recommendations made by the Parliamentary Subcommittee on Land and Forestry in response to my statement, Parliament adopted, it should be implemented in full. From henceforth, there shouldn't be the possibility for anyone to issue a salvage permit to anybody to salvage any rosewood. And if the people want to use the rosewood to build their houses or even to burn charcoal and sell her. It is their right to do so. That is the only way that we can prevent this fraudulent activity from going on. Because look, let's face it, it is a serious, high-level act of fraud that involves many elements in our society, from the very base to the very top. And the truth must be told.
In the next few days, no, a day na o constituent a ATO ene expect you free ho.
They are fully aware of the advocacy I've been waging on this matter. The committee on land forestry no me join omo e yene ahemfo ADD ho komo yene DC any presiding member ADD ho komo me so me kwana se bo apro I raise awareness about this issue and I draw their attention to the fact that they are being deceived, and most of the times, the promises that these companies make to them, they don't even fulfill those promises. And we are better off, taking a radical stand and approach to confront them, because by the law, there should be no reason why anyone should be issued a permit to go to my communities like Kalasa or Bachongsa or Doninga or Uwasi to go and salvage rosewood. Because first of all, there is no requirement that should give the commission or even the ministry a basis to issue a permit in that order. But it's a collective fight, Obi. I must tell you, we are dealing with a business that is very lucrative. We are dealing with people who are very deep pockets. And if you know the cost of a 20-foot container of rosewood on the world market, you would understand that this is not that different from the fight against Galamsey. So if we are serious as a nation, we must give it equal attention as we have done in as far as the fight against illegal mining is concerned.
And in all of those, I will earlier say along the value chain, unkofo bebre na disappointed as on mine. Earlier, Forestry Commission edin by up strongly because on Monday was a sa permit in collaboration with the ministry and they with the Forestry Commission especially, what ba down heavy on them say or mona atna say ahwe ayen hwehan ma saade ekoso adentia
and say part of law na ela na me kan na it says that the chief executive may, upon application and subject to the approval of the commission, issue a permit for the salvage of trees from an area of land undergoing development, as in the case of road construction, expansion of human settlement, or cultivation of farms. So quite clearly, it is the Forest Commission that has the responsibility to ensure that, one, this tree species, which is also classified as an endangered species, is protected. It is also the commission that initiates, or if you like, begins the processes of allowing companies to get permits. And by and large, you also expect that the commission would also be up and doing by having its officers on the ground to verify and ascertain whether or not indeed the claim that the logs are there is true or not. They are not doing all of that. And so you cannot blame any other agency for what is going on other than the Forestry Commission and indeed the ministry.
Honorable Apa, I get it.
But let me just finish this point.
Okay.
If we are to enforce the law, if we are to enforce the ban, certainly Forestry Commission has to be in the forefront. So is the ministry. They have to then collaborate, or if you like, sit down with the security agencies, give them the parameters and give them the conditions upon which persons found to have entered the forest or to have been carrying rosewood logs are apprehended and prosecuted. Since the ban came into effect, not even one individual has been arrested and has stood trial in as far as this illegal activity is concerned. Ask yourself how that is possible.
Honorable Park Mamenase, why? Nyame Insurance, so Inti Clementa Park, Member of Parliament for the Belsa South constituency and Motesi Aneno Edin Komo 7 minutes after 3. Ekosiisen so any. And it's becoming clear, say as a minor say bibi air koswa my environment na adwin say the ban air bar. What is becoming clear is a ban no war in force no na manfo na mechiri yes ade na ya atum say was a ban enye Rosewood nko we saw it in the case of the ban against illegal mining here na why na ye dada no
ojenwa ontiasie na in fact some more details are becoming available as early as last year and I keep going back to Tumu in reference to the forest reserve between February and April 2018 about 12 companies got rosewood out of there 173 trucks and collected rosewood to the tune of 5.4 million cubic meters of rosewood from just that particular enclave, just within that particular short duration. No,
salvaging.
Obviously not, and the evidence is very clear that.
And it's for salvaging, no, and it's omuchiremu no matwa nnuani bi agu fam ansa na ban neighbor ntiyema won kwan no mo nkosa sasa nnua no ono ntu ye nyina no na that meant me nkasa ye nyina ebi mu nim ba omu kwa apart from the egu fam na omu sesa no na omu say twa foforo egu fam abramra ne se omu ni ho kwan se omu betwa eno ho nkomo ena ye di en we ye nnua ne bo edin en say the honorable Clement Park e kan ye no 20-foot container baako on the international market alibaba.com between $11,000 to $40,000 enti we dey acquire se galamsey gold de eno ho nkomo na bi pepe ba we ni ye nnua ba ye kire me de ban aba enso na amanfo na mekire a omo eye nnua nso ehia be wo hwe nnua ma nnua ne timi ya ehia a enwo se ye makwan me yetwa ne nyina egu inte ye ni bresem de ye ka wa na ye ni bresem papa boku forestry commission for no from and companies no that be but companies needing ade ehia me pa
inte no 22 of them
yes
Mrs. K. Jemfua Company Limited. Mrs. K. Jemfua Company Limited. Omo enya the permit no. Mrs. Luslin Company Limited. They are also one of the companies. Their permit came on the 6th of July.
And permit when in for salvaging.
Yamomo blanket salvaging through Brunahafo, Upper West, Upper East, and Northern region.
Okay, blanket meaning say ye nimu nuyane dodo enu omuso omotwagu ye nimu ne dodo.
In fact, permits na mako through ninano. There is only one of them that a figure was put to how much rosewood they can salvage. Only one of them, all the rest none. There is one that was issued to a company called Atake Limited, and this is a permit that was signed by Professor Bruce Banong Yakubu, who was then the acting chief director of the ministry, and it shows you the different levels. Some of the permits are coming from the chief director himself, some by the forestry commission. Acting CEO then, and all of that conflicts. But this one, which was coming from the chief director of the ministry then, no, they were asked to salvage 500 cubic meters of rosewood from the Bunahafo, Upper West, Upper East, and Northern regions, and this was to Atake Limited. There is another one here, Sontrak Investment Limited. They also got the permit to go and do the salvaging in August 2017. Royal Space, Mrs. Royal Space Company Limited, also 16th August 2017. Canasas Plus Limited, another such company that got the permit. Tensor Furniture Company Limited also got the permit. Let me go through the rest of it very quickly. Negdam Ventures Limited, almost unya permit, no. Steve Abundant Grace Company Limited, almost unya permit, no. Soft Trade Impex Limited, one of those other firms. JB Connects Company Limited, almost also unya permit, no. This one idea Mami Fante me can in a while. Chris Graff Company Limited, another company that got the permit. Jasdal Plus Company Limited, Canvas Company Limited, and these are in fact, some of them are timber companies, but some of them, when you check their background, the indication is that they are into general construction and mining. Those are the details that you get. General construction, and some of them are into mining. But one way or the other, no, they found reason to venture into the rosewood business now. They went in with the application for permit for salvage. Masco Asante Limited is another such company. Transatlantic Logistics Limited is another such company. Delwinde Enterprise is another such company. Gunwood Limited is another such company. Tracking and Construction Limited is another such company. System Environtech is also one of the companies. Membo Limited, earlier. Sansona Ingram Company Limited. And so
is there evidence to show say any of these companies before the ban no na omwede kan akọ atwanua ni bi agu ho dada, for which reason on beje permit to go and salvage?
From the checks that we did, nothing as such as to the role that they had played in the industry even before then. But as the former administration is drawing attention to Alhaji Nusaf Husseini, that space to do the salvaging was provided back in 2013, before the ban itself came into force in 2014.
But that space was provided to companies are not which
was actually the idea.
Okay.
Companies are not no. The indication is that the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry had identified some of those specific areas. They were asked to put in the permits, and then they were asked to go back and do the salvaging before the real ban took effect on 1st January 2014. And beyond then, then the expectation was that there shouldn't be any form of cutting. There shouldn't even have been available lots for salvaging.
Completely new companies.
Not exactly. It's not fully clear the status of a lot of them, but the number of them are. In fact, some of them were incorporated in 2017 from our checks.
No, I mean, say new in the sense, say. They were not part of the cutting down of rosewood before
a number of them as such they were not part of the cutting at all when it comes to the process.
Parliament, I was Land and Forestry Committee in Parliament. Vice Chairman, Honorable Ebenezer Nate. Honorable Akwabe Ekosiisen Soni. Na apomu ya de.
Anyame adonare gostishami.
Yenim say mo committee ma ye adwuma bi efa rosewood salvaging and nsensema ekoso ewo ho ama mo report aye ready no kre
Obi patron aye report aye ready ama ye dia call house no so aka ho asem. That's about 3 weeks ago.
In the house ne ka ho asem sesen
Obi me fa konya we na menchia with for say metie me colleague Honorable Apak on the issue of rosewood. In fact, if I remember, somewhere last 2 years, somewhere in July, I stand to be corrected or issue statements, because we know say the because of constituency and even the country to me a can wasem. So he can issue of rosewood, harvesting of rosewood in his constituency. So what happened was that Speaker refer matter no edima the Committee of Lands, Forestry and Natural Resources. We all know say as a committee no then our responsibility as to what we have to do. So we program ourselves as to nyama SSA. And to me, I'm working on the referral no that particular year, but the following year no, and I was part of the people who went to the constituency Bunsa with my chairman, other colleagues of mine from both minority as well, and my Okoye. Our first point of call, we met the DCE. We met the Forestry Commission. We met chiefs and opinion leaders in that constituency. In fact, before that, we even paid a visit to the regional minister to inform her as to our visit in that constituency. And we did all those things. It's a matter of concern to all members of parliament when it comes to harvesting of woods. Because when the climate change, favorable, it affects all of us. More especially our people in the northern side. There's a problem. So we also believe that it's a matter of concern. We did so. Unfortunately, I'm not having the report with me. But I recall, in our report, we stated, as I said, Ministry of Lands and Forestry, Omobandi, your friend is saying, issuing permits. But it was clear to us that Omoma permits since 2018, they stopped giving permits. But it would be the question we need to ask ourselves: why more in a year harvesting of rosewood? Central. I can take you to every electoral area in Ablekuma Central. I can take you to every corner in Ablekuma Central. I don't know Busa. So when I get a contract that I'm going to Busa to harvest rosewood, meaning that I have somebody in Busa who will lead me into this. We met the DC. We asked him, are you aware of rosewood that you harvest? In fact, the fact of the matter is, Yang as a committee, we decided to even involve the person who made the statement. Because I only constituency, he has raised the issue. It is referred to us as a committee. But because we want the truth, we decided to go with the one who made the statement to know the truth. Yes, indeed. You need to call you know. You call who this? You see this? You see you try and be our hanum. In the end, you hanum no. It's Yamra. Are you aware? Admit I say yes. It's aware. Say yeah, try rules because when ministry Emma permits now, it comes to a friend the Forestry Commission. Forestry Commission informed or no. Then they look at whether the documents are already abandoning now correct and all those things. Obi, when your code do honor, we ask him a specific question. Manya knew your friend is saying letters. It should say I'm going to say permit or CDB. So why do you continue to be harvesting rosewood? Also, the more harvesting no, their old ones are so even me, even that they are even asking that question. We are then who say we are old and I say you new. Also, the bar they assess them so they know those ones. So okay, in fact, to extend that they even took us to the bush to show us where some of these rosewood a bit that. And it is clear that this is not a fresh rosewood that you harvest here. So, Obi, the fact of the matter is that it is not the responsibility of Forestry Commission alone. It's the responsibility of the members of parliament in the northern region. It's the responsibility of our DCs. It's the responsibility of our community leaders and the chiefs. Obi, let me tell you this. One of the chiefs, Eka, said, the only source of your friend is the revenue, and the only source of Wema community, and I said the youth, this harvesting of the rosewood. Because youth when the people bring your friend is saying the permits now, they go and do this business for them, and that it is subject to the approval of some of your friends and penny for even though they themselves admit and say you can even find out from my brother Akano or Sihuni. They were part of the people that we went out. So when it is a national issue, I agree with Dr. Park when he say is your friend is saying Galamsey. This one is also a national issue. But the fact of the matter is how do we get to the bottom of it and deal with it?
Yeah, but honorable, we share permit ebigu yenim wahana a free forestry commission na a specific yama companies no quite to go and salvage. Unfortunately, in most of our permits details bi anka ho into any number of rosewoods egu ho mo kwa salvage blanket near the amount say for the community leader on wo ho no DC on wo ho no say company rep ne ko na o show a copy of this permit the DC from day one disabled. And mind you, say forestry commissioner one guards for forest reserve bit say to mudie forestry commission guards the inti they would have to police the process and make sure say companies adhere outside their permit. If they fail to do that job, the blame should squarely be on the forestry commission.
Yeah, Obi, I'm surprised that you are saying say the permits now go on no. There is no quantity yet stress among savage because I know say Uber to me as savage I think is it 300,000 ton or something. It's about 3 BB. I mean so I'll be surprised. In fact,
no, for all the permit agreement just one and then so na a ministry acting chief director na assign but the forestry commission for ankasa acting executive director assign baako we say Opon Sasu acting executive director of the forestry commission on our sign all of them the ones from the forestry commission quantity be any so.
Oh, that's why I'm surprised because I know say the permit of the rules would have to come from the ministry, not from the forestry commission. So you get the permit from the forestry Ministry of Foreign Ministry for Forestry, Natural Resources. Then you take it to that ministry, the same ministry, forestry office in that region. The region admitted and did its own investigation. If everything is clear, it refers to the district now. The district also have to verify and see whether you have gone through the region and the head office before the permit will be granted to you to even salvage in that district. So I'll be surprised. Say there's no quantity and it was signed by a different person. I'll be surprised.
In more investigations as a committee, did you come by any permit na a free forestry commission for air quantities also?
No, we didn't get any letter. I must be honest with you. Me any permitter. There's a permitter. From your friend is saying Ministry of Forestry. For savage. I'm not started any letter. I'm saying that because I think there's a time even Cabo even raised the same issue.
Mm-hmm.
So as a vice chairman of the committee, I went to process as which Uber to me to get Rosewood permit, and I was told the process. And the choir first said, "Oh yes." So I even asked her, "How do we even track the? You say, savage maybe 50,000. We then who said, "Why you know 50,000?" I said, "Less than 50,000."
Okay. Oh no, wait. This way forward. Then more recommendations say yenya total ban on salvaging, harvesting, BBR for now, right?
Yeah, that's our recommendation.
Dabena take effect. When is the minister coming to the house to answer questions? Dabena, expect to say no be take effect.
This one, as a committee, speaker Nesumaya. The way no
Akoma speaker, okay.
Speaker Ajiatum. It is up to your friends and speaker to invite the minister. And now say my colleague and I say even my chairman can do that. Or even me myself I can do that. That we invite the minister for lands and forestry to come and tell us this is a decision of parliament. This is the parliament's report. We are giving this report to you. When do you think we can have a total ban on salvaging? Whether your friend is saying a fresh one, I think a fresh one, we want a ban on it. And that will be one thing is banning alone is not enough. But there should be a community engagement. Very intensive one. Because this thing is being done by the committee themselves. The community, the people in that community, they are the people who do that work. Secondly, Forestry Commission, Mecca said, in a way, are very handicapped when it comes to some of these things. Because you can get a free Forestry Commission staff and they are gas as well. That is why sometimes I always tell people, say, yes, we are fighting Galamsey. We will fight and fight, but to get your point, a better day. Because the internet can say, as a vice chairman of the committee, any trip be me could now who could do her. Now who assume you say your forestry reserve our parliament. And we more up to the assembly more office more one. We have about 10 or 50 forest guards. If the person is even they are doing illegal mining in parliament, more your friend Kuku Memle Hono, how can you be
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM?
Your friend is saying forest is reserved. So how do we protect our forest reserve?
I understand that point, but me can you say on this same platform about mining issues? No, Forestry Commission was here and they were on a coalition course with Interministerial Committee, say omuni hu kwan so mbe enter forest reserve without their notice, and they will stop obi obeko forest even to go and reclaim land and all of that. And when they do that for mining, they should be able to do same for rosewood, and so stopping obia or beyond the permit from doing your
For that one I agree with you. So that's what make come from the beginning. It is not the responsibility of the Forestry Commission for pay and as the Ministry of Lands and Forestry pay. It's the responsibility of all of us. The community but one of the key can say the only source of livelihood for the people in the community, is for the harvesting of the rosewood. So how do we even talk to the thieves, and how do we even engage the people in the community near catch on the importance of stopping the harvesting of the rosewood? It is not only in the Forestry Commission alone.
Honorable, my FNC, Medase Papa Perry, so when you're ready, Dinkomo. Why? Medase Panyamin Shawnti, Honorable Ebenezer Natono, a Vice Chair, a Land and Forestry Committee in Ghana's Parliament. Ma Yentie voices we Emra Opoku ko around on a task force member, be more community task force, or more say Omoma sa harvesting any way of rosewood, no, and because you entered your kind.
I would like to, first of all, express my disappointment at the level at which government, especially this current government, who even campaign on the protection of our vegetation, to have come into power and given permission to people we are told it is in a form of compensation to come into our fragile vegetative cover to harvest this rosewood. As you could see, the first ones we saw, they were fresh, less than a week.
Enti ono confirming the fact say nkofo na nya salvaging omoye na ade a fresh ones they cry yentwa no omu twa e kan against permitter omunyan farmers ni bi nso de omo nso de to Joseph Enimini.
We have some enclaves, even dry season, that our animals don't get fresh grass to graze on. Those particular areas we always have them fresh during dry season. But since they started the harvesting of rosewood, you cannot even find any fresh grass at these areas. And we used to have even cattle being moved from Burkina Faso into these areas. And whenever they bring them into these areas, they pay before allowing them to graze. But we don't have it anymore since they started cutting this rosewood. And I can also tell you, before the cutting of rosewood, this army worm that has invaded our crops, especially maize crops, used to feed on these leaves. But now that we are dislocating them from their habitat, they are now compelled to dwell on our food crops.
Because of the weather, how they are falling the trees, the rains too don't come as we expect them. Because of the falling of the trees, in fact, we are suffering. We are suffering.
We get 1 or 2 rains at the beginning of the year. Farmers ration, they prepare their yam mound and they plant. And then there is a drought spell for maybe another 2 months. And the yam that they have planted get rotten in the yam mounds.
It's going to result in desertification, and we know the impact of the desertification. Yes, we will have much longer, dry spells. We'll have more drought, meaning it's also going to have impact on agriculture, as it were. And this is what we know. At least 60% of Ghanaians depend on agriculture. So if everything we are doing is destroying our base, then we are destroying our future as a nation.
And farmers need be so dear. And finally, the current minister of land and forestry, Eddie Nkomo, on also the other two any.
Rosewood, indeed, there is a ban on harvesting of this particular species. Because of the ban, nobody can go to the forest or the ground to harvest any rosewood. All those dealing in rosewood today are people who had earlier harvested. And we have some areas where we give permission for them to salvage. So if you see few people dealing with rosewood, that is the reason.
Enti minister nsema ono dia tudwa no but at least utie evidence wo hono nso na it's not true say omo a dealing rosewood sisia no omo a earlier omo kokko harvest here. There is no a fact
and the evidence is clear that they are doing more than just salvaging. In fact just about 2 weeks ago, there was an incident in Wild West. Omukoko trying the be a place called Funsi, if my memory serves me right. Your correspondent Traffic Salam this report nearby. After some could try, there was a conflict over who was the owner of the land on which the cutting was done. Between two communities,
yes.
Resulting in clashes. Omo bubo muhutio ama nipa mienu frimu. The district security council no eteki na almost say they are doing meetings in order to avoid situation where another indication that some of the cutting is ongoing, because in this case that's what had happened. As to who exactly the owner was why na beje huns kano and the clashes nearby eventually nipa mienu etutu pia omo free no sansona me call around no. There's a community called Tafiase and also so Sisala enclave hono story ba kwa mekote rosewood for no ba betwen ya no mo de gu kamu so mo de tete nti omo de hihye mfikyire na o manfa chalk na nto hunye ma direli akra 6-year-old girl fan so akra ni frimu sometime last year, and also so another devastating impact of this illegal trade. The evidence is clear that a cut beyond just the impact on agricultural productivity, any weather patterns, anyhow affected communities, no munya in Miampomfanyomo and Daniadia. It goes to the very extent of say, just as the business is ongoing, no, in Crawford lose your life. Right on the spot, weighing their future impact on the communities. A lot of attention has to be paid to that.
Okay.
The recommendation from Parliament say ban salvaging completely. They should disallow salvaging. Senebea in Miano, it's a big gusugu. It's difficult to believe say in Miani bigusugu honum since the ban came into force 2014 ebabisine. But yamfane say bi honum mpoa. Local communities ni newsy na the baby omfanye than abide to insist omo person mo earn from that until they are giving companies the right to go and salvage and export and necessary. And they a very good recommendation, but more importantly no, me who say it's about time the security agencies made an example of some of those involved in this illegal business. Arrest them, take them to court, go through the trials. In fact, when it comes to cutting down roots, cutting down trees in forest reserves, it goes with up to a 2-year term in prison plus a fine. They should look out for some of those responsible, set an example out of them. Let's all publicize that so that then those who continue to do some of these things would avoid it going forward, I think.
Joseph, my mena se na yemfa NC, yeda se pa great job done. Great job. Yeda se. And Joseph Opoku Gakpo and and kind of from one investigative report we would move to another. Manasa Azori Awini will be joining us now for yashe ne documentary numre and Joy News exclusive. Manase ako undercover etumi ehu se training be of militia koso wo Ghana here in a state facility. Na I am rantia ye training one for the use of the ruling New Patriotic Party. And only the Manasa investigations no etumi ede aba. He will join us. Na fe we be any kakra and you and I show full video no on all multimedia platforms. Now, if you train no, wasanya ba na yako into details and kasa. But no be any kakra some of the details in there no will shock you. And more video no na ha na yebedi sa nkomo no enche. Ma memfa na say Emma Capfarm Ghana Limited and afi SIPS alata seminar for helping us and as a supporting me here some segment on Ekosiisen. SIPS alata seminar ye seminar eboye papa ewo all the effective skincare properties. We here na eba in 3 different fragrances. You oriental, vanilla, and a lemon. SIPS alata semina adea ma honam etimi etoso ma honam eyemre kama. Na mo amopedo do etu mo mfre 0244 280272 and 0241 293 726. Company Nankasa was Pentex Road, adjacent endpoint, just after Shell signboard no Ubeho SIPS Company Limited. Ewoho. You was shop in Suo Kaishi, Michel Makola, just opposite Old White Chapel. A Dianina Wakes, a woman no Ubeho your shop na ewo Udru Kaishi na per direction na 0244 201393. Na koko pipito SIPS alata semina or say the family's choice. Enche yane Sovereign Estate. General Manager Ebedi Enkomo Manasa Azoria Winnie Abekansa ewo studio ha Manasa kwa ba boko de
Obi nyame adom me ho pa
Manasa Azoria Winnie
Obi
award-winning investigative journalist. No, we too much. And you made an AC.
Latest investigation and yebe premiere Joy News on Multi TV. And DSTV channel 421 na nhwehwema yaye edefa nia ekoso mayimu atu bi adwendwen aye vigilante groups ya ebi mutimishia mabun bi ni akoma no abom on party lines no eno nhwehwem ni yaye na yehwema yaye ne chese ni yebe yene ho story the NHS is affiliated to the governing New Patriotic Party, NPP. Kaka numbers no ekobe 5,000 nationwide.
Nipa 5,000
nationwide.
And omu training one.
No, nationwide, but headquarters na wakra ne die. Around 500.
Nipa 500.
500. Na ya omu military drills to be called near so omu machine ade. To dance say chomo gota and the use near like the security people. Na near yeko yehu yene say facility omu no. A state facility.
I won't cry here.
I won't cry here. Say abai a
military camp ana.
Military camp, but a babia obiantumi wo hokeke. Okokura ko twamfo ne ma wontwa. Entina ne yebisane se kwan ben so na safue etimi ekoho a yehwe omo a yenkahwe. Eno nso koda nchen kra na some more offices and so as a state facility yekan omo pinina as a commander no da man so or interesting links be to this very government and some top government officials
commander na wo training omo
commander of the
links to the government
to an important figure in the government. There's a link and then you etie for ehwa
and investigations need to me approve say for example nipa 500 na wo Accra ha no omu nyina ye members of the MPP
okay so yebo voices from commander and then mpilifo no ano somewhere from ano banieka enye ye ne yeka ashoma no but okwa ye nkrofo na before bi we hokra na bi say hwan na do bo na me brono we so MPP and it is not in doubt. So the fact that the rallying point is the New Patriotic Party is not in doubt. The fact that the commander is linked to an important figure in the New Patriotic Party is not in doubt. The fact that this facility is a state facility, I say be a security zone, that one too is not in doubt. And we also have evidence that one or two occasions we some PA akoye as a program be koswa say be a program koso na omo security people and I say be my bodyguard agent get ano sankrofo ako na program na MPP for akuku dampa ekosa program ya na metimi akaso mampani ekufu adompo na osa program na se hobi
enti akofo bi kokobo
eban ho enti edwuma ye to yebo since that day no anopa na omo beko no ye sheda ene omo koni di omo chi till say program no end ye
omo kobo ban was our program
as enti
na omo dressing to say
san krofo mu dress ya no ma she suit
Ekosiisen
na inside ye white enti akwese security
na legitimate
ya na ebi muso ya na ma she glasses ni ade enti omudwuma omudi no but ye hwehwemu hu say side ku ekra na ewo omayimu ache kakra but na I say underground party and I say MPP ba pound na I say mobilization akosro pa
na te na yeku ewo ho dada
vigilante group na ade ewo ho dada but as na anshada mobilization numbers na akosro sa
from saying
the I group
I as in any
and omomoto vigilance and protection
because I'm running my quite for private security company
and no it could be Ministry of Interior say company and as a group you register na and Interior Ministry say you insanka registration be cra free group or more apply a cra
let Interior Ministry
because
and for private security companies Interior Ministry and
registration so
and registrar general
to be able to get a license also Interior Ministry and to win now and then you about 8:30 join news channel or multi TV yede beba na ye tiefo nyina hu details no ne order no ne on any link but be omo yesa training di nyina beba no abontiama obia hu ne yakoso
matesa uko undercover uko training
manko training manko training
Manasa Azuri awene na me pese me busa we nti o ka say Accra ha no mo 500 but across the country na be 5000
yeah Accra ha no ye hwe number no ko obi ma bo 500 but at a particular time mo ko training no ye active no because I thought I would be draw an facility ho at a go with me be ni 400 being there at a go.
Wow, go through the drills.
Drills. Yeah, he chom into different groups. And Tina question bisane say aban empenifo enim say enkrofoi ewo nhyiamu bisa ewo sa facility na somo hu a eden na omoye afa ho na we such a facility na nyade a obi
timi course is it a facility under the Ministry of Defense and as the Ministry of Interior?
It's a very important facility in this country. But
other regions then so no were we able to establish a also a training be say course in other regions?
Other regions na they into me and hunia air course here but Accra no because near because vigilante groups are some doors but the entire way acquire serious kakran say wo share facility aban and as a state facility na o myself we run nke private facility mpo because so vigilantism and as a militia a problem but some of private way no it's okay but say who say one more occupy facility bia
it belongs to the state
and say be assembly be as district assembly and as municipal assembly be ho. Now if you look at the importance of the state facility, it raises questions as to who allowed them in, who gave them that
registered private security companies.
There be say registered private security company obenya friends say
license
but the question would also be how did they get access to
even the state facility? Because private companies endorse and your omumu bi any when you access to that facility. In the first place.
And idea
and a commander also what links to a high placed personality
in this country.
Very important personality.
They say there's that link. So Edibia Betuja Obi.
Manas and you may time by now
8:30 our Joy News.
8:30 p.m.
our Joy News on Multi TV, and that's a channel 421 on DSTV.
Manas Azuri Awene
Obi.
No, Manase, way too much.
Way
too much. And you may and then tomorrow they are going into details. You ready? I don't know. You
baby.
Na yakasa ye. Manase Medase.
Medase.
And Manas Azuri Awene, head of the investigative desk. A Joy News and Moten and Ekosiisen Suni Ewa Sempa FM. The details said ya wakano will shock you. And you may 8:30 p.m. pepepe on all our platforms here at Multimedia, on Joy News on Multi TV and all our social media platforms. Ubitimi Ashe. This investigative report from Manasseh Azuri Awene. 48 after 3. Me enko sorry next to Emra tell ye ba ye call on to fuel price increment on sensem na ye disa and commodity ne Copec impanyefo so ebekasa na ya share this 4% increase we are told impact no at saying what does it mean to wa wutie en enumre yebeka emun sembebre na e de achew enti ma many Joe eni nkomo na ye Joe bibi aboko de
nyamiadom bibi aboko
sorry na state mo hoye
nyamiadom
de bia na yenyan nkofofofra ATO for the first time juma ben na mudi
ye obi me das me metie for na ha amobi akwa abaso de aba asempa 94.7 so na dedin kan ya wuti ye ni a sorry next ye adwuma ekwa de be ka se Christopher me boy kan hu abom se ye som o my Ghana na asono de ya me ka se som no eguma hodro se de obi wuti hai kama o som o man you are very patriotic ye po man kan kono sa sorry so som wo incredible bi mo ye no fa adansi bie de fa no adansi hu ina no incredible Sovereign Estate Ghana Limited so ye som edefa ho enti no ye dwuma eku a ni tofa bomo no ye si dan afi so supply building materials papa and my interior decoration afi so ne kese mu no ye ton ensase ehunyasem e de ma ye tifo saso ena ye sanso into butter trading so otumi de bebi etisa ejapade bi sisa asase na bebi sa no say ye bon so famu ne meka no
wow enti unse be ba asase ne adan ho nsem de a mani eje ho pa and for obi a otese me ebia as part of the new year resolution ne sa fi be ko na we ni wanya asase and our starting project bi no e den na mo wo masa nipa no
ye bi me da se me se afi mo no ye de jumedi ba ko papa bi eka ye jumedi di da ho titru pa na mamenfa ensase ton no enhyase na memfa nra eye side me ba kwa me hu as a tree they kan se o pasase atoro eye enkrama mu hanu mu dia Sovereign Estate and I was we do the chair the same thing say am adom ye ensase to the same enkrama mu he na we do the chair ye amasama na ko nsawem e de ba kaswa e de ba oyibi dodowa amra here e de ko yarfa e obi etema chopoli Dorinya Pram Shy Hills e de ba e Dansuman Sakaman afi East Legon Trasako humu na ye onsase wonom e de ko pim kra wini ba e onsase e wosameni na ye de boa itifo no ene se ebia wo pasase a wo benya botoyemu a wakoma so beto wo yemu wo ho part of the furniture Sovereign Estate and the same ye ma wodi nkan nya kwan akohwe asase no ansa e kwan ye di nkan no wo kohwe so ye njo kapre da bi wo de kohwem na wo wi aye mu nhwemu a opese oyi na enu echi no bra na ye mfa ye nsa enhye nkrata ase na afi ni tua no so no enkon ni tua no ye mu mienu ugo hono ya mi adomo ya mi shaw usika botni crap ekope a wori tua ubo so a ebia na opese oye ne kakra ni na gina ne sika sama ho den ene sedi ne sika sam esifa ebantino opese oye ne kakra ene so ekwan ewo ho edema obibia wo de beto ase at least a free 25% sedi etene se emia bia ne bo ena afi bia so ne die o de to ase but ne at least mu no say even say crack now the 25% or how much more you know e dey ato ase na afi ye ne wa betena ase aye hihye ahwe na ebeboa a wo de betumi de tua eka aka no enye o hye so ne meka o hye so a pache se se obe ne bosumi bia se obe na wotwe bia no gya wa wo so na mom ye gitumu se ento da ya hye ato a ye mienu ya gya tumu se ye betu ewie na de betu ewie na se ye hye o se bosumi bia mo fa sempo na teko se bra de bi sorry ne ye hye o kete sa na mom na ya hye to no ento se bedudie na betu ewie ewo wa kwanya betumi twa njojo nso
enti eno ye for asase ne de no adan so
adan no ye de afi ye de fellow the builders mindset
okay
the be kan ye dwumedi hu the builders mindset eno no teacher no ye say ye fa asase to no bebre na empopon there be we ye wona teacher no nkankan na mano ne fa yiti yen ene obi bia o man mu ha na mom onya ne ho twabe ebia o be say we dwumen woni fiezo ana wonnam pensemu de aba woni saa adaje no a builders mindset ne beboa ene ne say ye building plans no show fa won such as we na mepe na fe ye hwe some total na say ebu ebesunu na anu a infitiase no betumi de eyo hamu tichemu dunum 15 ne kra no betumi 15% de ato ase na ya hya se die ese ma enya afei ene ekoton sase die ama watwa ho nkrata no aka se mepe foreman afei mepe architect ama wadro de bi we no builders mindset ne chere say yem plans aye woni emu ahodo ni wo de won sa chere say mepe we na afei yehu ebo na esum no a wo de ebia to ase na ahyase esidan na pekope di amount we no wunya kwan bako de ebo bako ekunuma mienu say wo si esi asase a wetua kade afradan no na wo de ene dwumedi a ye de aka ho de aba afia ye ebo ye pa ebo
that's great and nkran hefa na mo
say asoye yasoye wo Accra New Town ye Caprice Road me chema na me fi wo free baby a wo bedru Accra New Town Commercial Bank.
Okay.
A very major landmark as a be our home pattern be him ho. We be do Accra New Town Commercial Bank. A quite down one Coca price. We be so be a better. Sai coin no we better government school sania we better government school. Ako nim ako to a year washing bay and I say yeah it's a free come as I can bones you maybe a hokano and no sabenkum na ye no mo di hwe no pay. Bon we no bon sumru wo sabenkum a na ye so ye wo eye wo nsani fa ye wa ban so I was second floor ba na ye billboard crab ban ho kakra Sovereign Estate Ghana Limited ya chance die so eda so a ho na nkrama mu ha na ye butu a ye di ejuma.
Oh okay enti waka say mutimi arrange man ko for site seeing ekokohwe ansa na wa take decision sa site seeing no ekabia enim ema me kwakwa akohwe no mu ana mu provide cars any bibia emeyeko
obi sele wakan pepepe
ye fucking janto ensase no wo he fa mu nsase no
ensase ne bio ensase no ewo ebi wo kaswa ebi wo amasaman ebi ewo nsawem sase no bi wo oyibi oyare fa amran here and afi dodowa erene sache mo tema yo nsase ne bi ho chopoli eba be promo East Legon Trasako echi ho yo nsase ho eba Dansoman Sakaman esamba Botiano Tuba Road afi ye kopie mo Winiba enso nsase no ma ni na ye very prime areas Southern and Sase say the make no enye nsase se bi afi ne ye kotwa kwaye breto bi dia maw na okochichi kro akopedi nyero zo da bi ensase wo kro mu a akwantempon de ma ma wakona badi so aye jojo bebi bie no wa soren ensase wo abekase na me ko ho na me peka ko ho na aye den da bi yensase na ewo kra nyame adom ebredada ensuo ni akane wo ho se wo sha se wo sidan wo sie wie wo twi so wo twi kanea ni na enya asem hia kra ze enya idea de ahotere bro dabi ni na nyame adom wo honom kama ma tena bia so ye kama mo bibia
Mate, one other thing I find am best yedi wi obi wo car mu wa kwenya otimire car ne ba ebeje asase
you be made as na me sha se ka say barter system and I say we be this insano ukra car na opese de asase sebi asase de man o yenye asase o be ka say asase asay asase so ya de ya afebo enti car sebi wutumi de asase de say car wo hoden enye car bi retwia na afei wa ho say hu hye da hu ni fa so bi man wa twen si bi no da bi enye sa aka ne me ye pe car one and kasa wugusu twa to say car no ahode say wo de be asase ni afebo car de nyame hwa wa ekoni ngakra eno ambesa den atia aba fo me say na hode esu bi nwan na asase so de ni na afebo wo tena so da entino wo peka sebi e wa hoden esi kwan so na ne fidie ne se ne na kwa na ye adwuma yie wo de twa car me foni efese me de na mesbeto dwa WhatsApp number wo mu no twa car me foni efese yen wo bia ye boga wo ba wo de car na ye round so kwa na afi ato adondren sa car no titru no wo de jet asena oba na onya baby de tutia eno eye asem hia pa to de car no phone be send WhatsApp line no a ye ma ye mpeni fo ana say ya na musifo ye valuers e ba be value car no ahwe ne bua ye sum ene se de ne bobe na asifa ni na ko wi a baby a won so pass as ye fe na e be ka say wo de car we na ba ye ntine de haso na de ma o da bi won so wo tre say me pesa kai sa bia ye sasi o na me pe na de car ne bo no ebe tutu ho na afi de ensashen krata se wonya eye one plot ana se operubu ntu bi kakra be ka ne bo no ho de aka no so a ni na kwan da ho ni na beba krata ye de sabe shase de na afi obi nya ho entiase na me de ensemako ka ho ye wo eda ya hye a de ko site the site going days no memenda memre na de bibia ko site bia opesoko bia wa opesoko amasama ne empate mu no mu be share wo amasama police station memre na bia na pa 7:30 ibe na oti amano ne opese obi kohwe mawo bomoden na fa sabe ehye otum se memre na bia amasama ne empate mu no 7:30 mu be share amasama police station enimo pe sasuna mu amoko kaswa ene ne empate mu no so mu be share wo kaswa Great Lamtemo school nim anapa no wotwe ne fa 8:30 na me shine ewo ho wo ko oyibi wo ko eye amahia eko oya efa mu na no safo we shine wo Adenta police station and so anapa no so ne fa 7:30 na me shine mu amoko eye dodowa so me shine wo dodowa Forest Hotel eye anapa 10:30 no do ne fa na we share wo ho mo amoko eye tamane ne mpatim no so no eno no ye special eyinti no mo fra ye homa no a na ye me bia mo be share ye ne musifo no na mo de wako ede waba wo bra ende okapre ende ohwe ye de be ko ede waba pepepe
we de ye ko farm numbers ne tudwa bio na yenya wo kwan ne ko
numbers a obetumi anya soren wo so ne rin kan no WhatsApp number titu ni ya etiama no ne kasifidi yeso no 0244 72 13 48 0244 72 13 48 where your WhatsApp number enti bia say brenu dear the Nanitino, Ube friendly be a one fan sanwa, Ibena, dear Chin, or House or Diasa. Until we send a WhatsApp text and quite dear, will be who you know, a brother Branade in some in Comodina and Atwaso, 0244 721348. And I feel you do also a 0500 54 54 57
Ekosiisen
0500 54 54 57. The cat was a 027 00 122 95 027 00 122 95. Winnie Soren ye homa hodwa wobetumi afre na wona na musifo na edinkita ho odo ene abotre ekwan so.
Mama na GM bibia ni e be san so adi nkomo bio ye da sepa wie why nyame shaw and the Soren Estate General Manager oda wonwano na moten nka Dominic Joe Jan na mote se ene no edi nkomo nti Mr. especially mo amuti amanone mo amu Ghana ha waka nsem bebre megiri se mo ahudie ewo makra New Town here na one office ewo nti wo ba mo nso betimi aboa na asase na wo pe dan na wo pe de wo pe bia fa dan sie ho no Soren Estate ebetimi aboa mame mfa we ntwamu a monya car foforo bi o ho a wo car insurance